Breaking the cycle of emotional addiction. Most people don't understand the science of change, so they're going into this new year and they're saying, I want to change, but they don't understand how to change on a nervous system level, on an unconscious level. So they're trying to white knuckle it, they're trying to effort it, and they keep relapsing into these cycles of thinking and feeling, especially as it comes to things like anxiety and depression. And you'll find yourself that everything will be fine and you'll find something to worry about. This is a sign of this addiction to stress, to cortisol. Okay, what we want to do is program ourselves to the feelings and emotions, and you can program yourself to the point where you're a hopeless success. But I want to talk about the hormones of stress, right? Or stress chemicals like cortisol and adrenaline that actually changes the brain in profound ways. And I'm going to actually read to you studies that's been done, so you don't think it's just me making it up. So in chapter 2 of this book, I start to dive into how the body's affected on a nervous system level and how you can create some of these changes. A lot of times is making unconscious thought conscious, which is why the questioning, but this is where I also start to do some body work. I want to read something for you real quick. It says that the research from the National Institutes of Health has shown that chronic exposure to stress hormones can cause changes in the brain structures like the amygdala and the hippocampus. The hippocampus is responsible for emotional regulation. Amygdala is where we process fear and anxiety and things like that, reinforcing patterns of fear, hypervigilance, and emotional reactivity. So it actually changes the brain structurally. I want to give people understanding, because the more you understand why the book, okay? Because I've found that if people actually engage in it, they'll see the changes they want to see, or you may have a family member or something that can actually utilize it. I'm gonna read the first part of it because it's more of a workbook. But it says repeated stress can lead to psychological adaptation where the body normalizes elevated levels of cortisol and adrenaline. That means that's your normal functioning. This is how I function. So it gets used to it. It's almost like you can also mistake excitement for anxiety because it's your normal state. It's like going to the chiropractor. If you're used to walking around and you're not in alignment, when you go to the chiropractor and you get in alignment, is you leave and then you're walking like, whoa, I didn't even realize I wasn't on balance. And many times some people are so used to being in pain that they don't understand what alignment feels like. I find that even with clients in therapy. Anyway, I just want to highlight some things from the book. I do a tension and relaxation exercise. I do more advanced exercises that I can do within sessions, and I'm going to create some audios, but I want to go over some questions real quick. The journaling prompts. What emotion has my body learned to live with? You can tell by as soon as you start stilling yourself and you start asking yourself these questions. Now the unconscious starts to become conscious, and I start to recognize these maladaptive or toxic patterns that I have. A lot of times within a relationship, there's a great incubator because you can see your patterns if you're willing to truly self-reflect. Next question is, how often do I feel tense without an obvious reason? That's a big one. That's a big one. That's why I love when you're able to slow down, and I do what's called in session self-check-ins. How do I feel in this moment? Why do I feel this way? I encourage people to do that throughout the day. Now, lastly, what activities or people increase my sense of safety? You want to know the ones that increase and the ones that decrease it. So it's starting to recognize how you feel in certain situations, because it's not what's happening, right? It's how you're perceiving what's happening. Then we want to dive into that. Anyway, I don't want to be super long with this video, but I also want to start breaking down some of the things that's in this workbook so that people understand really how it can be a useful tool to their lives. Blessings. Have a great day.